how do we go ahead and build a pathway or a roadmap to get to the place that you ultimately want to be? If you're watching this video, you are probably like me around 5 years ago. You know you want to make a lot of money, but you don't know what to do, what to learn, where to go. In this video, I'm going to try and give you some advice and ultimately a path forward. So if you're willing to put in the work, you'll have the ability to go ahead and get what you want out of life. A bit of backstory on me. When I was 18 years old, I was doing graphic design for YouTubers, for people on Twitter that were influential. I was designing like channel art for their channels and their branding. And I was making around 500 bucks every single 2 weeks doing that. So 1,000 bucks a month. And at the time when I was a senior in high school, that was a ton of money, and it would be for most of you out there watching as well. But I knew that there was always something looming in the distance. I knew that eventually I would bridge that gap from being a teenager over to an actual adult. And $1,000 a month was not going to cut it in terms of the money that I was making. I knew I had to make a pivot and I didn't know what to do. Retrospectively, looking back, it's very clear what the issue was. It's all about economies of scale. Let me give you another example. Let's say you work at a fast food restaurant like McDonald's or Burger King, and you make 10 bucks an hour being a cashier or being a cook in the back of the restaurant cooking food. Do you think you're more replaceable as a resource to the company compared to, say, a digital marketing expert that manages millions of dollars of ad spend every month for a company? Which of those two positions do you think is going to be more replaceable? Obvious answer is going to be that fast food worker. And the same thing applies to my previous career in graphic design. I was competing, not knowingly, with all of these other agencies, freelancers, etc. in the global marketplace. And that was something that I didn't really understand at the time. I was just trying to make money. I was just trying to get some designs out there and ultimately provide value. What I didn't realize is that there was somebody in India looking to do the exact same work that I was for a fifth of the price. And most companies are going to go that route. However, if you transfer that same thinking over to, say, digital marketing, which is what I do now for clients, it's very difficult to replace somebody that's able to combine so many moving parts and so many moving skills together. And ultimately, that is the reason why I'm in the position that I am now in life. So going back to my original point, how do we go ahead and build a pathway or a roadmap to get to the place that you ultimately want to be? And it all starts with objectively taking a look at your situation and asking yourself the question, am I really replaceable? Am I easily replaceable? Would my employer or would the person that I'm working with or would my client be able to take a look at me and scratch me off without having too much friction on the other side of that? If the answer is yes, then you need to immediately take action and actually put yourself in a position where it's less likely that you're just going to be able to be replaced for a cheaper alternative. You need to be in a position where the value that you provide to the person that are giving you money is so irreplaceable that they wouldn't even think twice about replacing you in the first place, even with an additional cost associated. So if you're working in fast food or you're working, a waiting job or something like that, like I was years ago, try your best to go ahead and build a side hustle or put in the work to build a high income skill that is not easily replaceable and is very valuable to the marketplace. And it could be anything. It depends really what you're into. It could be something like copywriting, where you're writing emails for companies. It could be digital ads like what I do, where I manage ad spend on various platforms. It could be doing creative like I was years ago as a graphic designer, but being more specialized and more niche with the kind of services that I was offering to companies. It doesn't matter what you choose, but make yourself an invaluable resource and you won't be replaceable, also known as economies of scale. You won't be able to grow as far and as fast as you want to if you're competing with a ton of people that can do the same thing for less. Let's go through another example. Let's say you want to start your own business and you want to go ahead and sell cupcakes. Well, you have to open a cupcake store in a finite area, in a finite location, and ultimately you can't really charge that much for cupcakes. Maybe 10 bucks maximum or 12 bucks maximum for your really good ones. You will always be limited by that price point because nobody is ever going to spend $50 or $100 on a cupcake. The economies of scale of that business are constrained to the local area that your business serves, also by the products that you're able to provide at the price point that the market requires. Conversely, if you were to open a business that serves dentists, for example, well, all of a sudden you've opened up your scope of work to be nationwide or even continent-wide or worldwide, depending on if everybody speaks your language. You're able to market your services to all of those people rather than being confined to a local location. Additionally, the service that you're able to provide to those dentists could be a very high ticket service because there's a ton of opportunity and a ton of room in the digital and online space compared to a commodity such as a cupcake that you can only really get away with selling for 10 or 12 bucks. You have an economy of scale advantage selling to the dentist. So if you're thinking about starting a business, make sure you have those ideas in the back of your mind. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like rating on the video down below. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. Leave a comment if you have questions or you just want to chat about what we discussed today. I'm happy to respond. And until next time, take care.